Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here tonight on the show. I'm here tonight with episode 20 here, the wrestling news. We have some news I want to talk about here. So let's get into the world of wrestling. If you haven't watched my NASCAR recap, go watch that. And my Dodger recap, go watch that. I'll probably just upload this wrestling news video. I'm trying to see if I can find some NBA or NFL news that I want to cover. So yeah, let's get to the wrestling news right quick. First thing I want to talk about is backstage news, producers for the WWE Money in the Bank 2022. So Fightful Select has learned the following producers of the Money in the Bank matches. So for Women's Money in the Bank match was Tyson Kidd, Molly Holly, and Kenny Dykstra. So I kind of figured Tyson Kidd and Molly Holly were the producers for the women's match. For Theory and Bobby Lashley was Adam Pearce. As we found out later in the night, he led Austin Theory in the lighter match, won the Money in the Bank. Bianca Belair versus Carmella, Sean Davari. Street Profits versus Usos by Michael Hayes. That was a really good match, a really good produced match as well. Ronda Rousey versus Natalia Petey Williams. That match sucked the ass. Men's Money in the Bank, Shane Helms and Jamie Noble. So that was a really good match. That was a good match. The Men's Money in the Bank just didn't like the result, but it was a good produced match. I mean, the matches were produced pretty good. So those were the producers for the WWE Money in the Bank. And Karen Cabera was in attendance, was in front row for the whole show. And there's also something in this article says, we've heard of an interesting locker room setup, to say the least, for an Alexa Bliss segment that was planned as a Friday, ended being the hugely panned Credit One commercial. And several WWE talent appeared at community events on Friday and like Saturday, I think, and finishes had not been relayed to all talent by Saturday morning. Many talent who planned to get into Las Vegas by Friday ended up getting booked for SmackDown late in the week. As many expected, Madcap Moss was added to the Money in the Bank ladder match when Kevin Owens was pulled. So yeah, there's some backstage news, a little bit of backstage news. Many talent who planned to get in Las Vegas by Friday ended up getting booked for SmackDown like late in the week, and finishes for the matches had not been relayed to all talent by Saturday morning. So I think it was the day of the pay-per-view. People or hours before, just maybe a few hours before, knew what was going to happen. So yeah, so that's all for the backstage and producers. Next thing I want to talk about is Chris Jericho. He's basically talking about Vince McMahon. What does it say? Oh yeah, he will not get real trouble. Over alleged affair and hush money. So he's basically saying he won't get in real trouble over the affair, the hush money, all the others, all the other news. We went over Vince McMahon on when it broke wrestling episode 18, I believe. So go and watch that if you haven't. I've said all I had to say about Vince McMahon in that video. It's like a 9-minute rant basically. But here's what Chris Jericho said in the start of this article. June 15th, the Wall Street Journal reported that WWE Board was investigating a secret $3 million settlement over Vince McMahon, who agreed to pay to a departing employee with whom he allegedly had an affair with. And then a few days ago, July 8th, there was a report saying Vince McMahon agreed to pay more than $12 million over the past 16 years to suppress allegations of sexual misconduct and infidelity. Feds reportedly went to 4 women who were previously associated with WWE. The women reportedly signed agreements that prohibit them from discussing potential legal claims against them or their relationships. And also Chris Jericho, we know, worked for WWE 1999 to 2018. Worked closely with McMahon during some of his runs. He even held the World Championship and was involved with feuds with the McMahons. And he was on a True Geordie podcast, I believe. And an interview that was seemingly recorded, I think it was before July 8th. I think it was recorded probably before July 8th, before that article was published. Jericho, he was asked about the allegations. He said, not really. Jericho said when he was surprised at the allegations, is it a surprise in any industry when it happens? When you look at it, it's really not illegal. He had an affair, paid the lady off to not say anything, and moved on. It's almost like, okay, and people want to jump on it, but there's still always an undertone of it's wrestling. Oh, it's just wrestling. If you look, this story came out with a bang, and then you haven't heard anything about it since. If this was Hollywood with Harvey Weinstein and that sort of thing, the difference between that is he was holding women back for getting gigs. Harvey Weinstein, either bang me or you don't get the starring role. This has never been Vince's thing. It was a mutual acknowledgement of the affair. He paid Lacey not to say anything. She took the money. I really know Vince well, and it sucks that it happened. And it sucks that he did it, but is anything really going to happen from it? I don't think so. And it appears this podcast must have been recorded before July 8th, which I assume it probably was. You want to say that's Vince McMahon? I think it'll come and go. Is it morally right? Absolutely not. Is it illegal? No. Is it something that's going to get him in trouble? I don't think so. Once again, unfortunately, it's just Vince McMahon. It's just wrestling. Of course he's going to do that. Those things come and go. They happen. It's too bad. But I really don't think that doesn't matter in the long run. 6 months from now, I'll either be right or wrong. And since that second report, they removed the Vince McMahon documentaries from its slate. So, but my thoughts on, I don't know if I have really many thoughts on this, because by the way it sounds, this was recorded before July 8th, this True Geordie podcast. But if you want to hear what I had to say about the Vince McMahon stuff, go watch Wrestling News. It's number 18. I just don't feel like putting an episode, so I just put number 18. Just go watch episode number 18. You'll see what I had to say about Vince McMahon. Last thing I'll talk about is details behind Stephanie McMahon's talent meeting before WWE Money in the Bank. So we finally here got some details about what the meeting was here with Stephanie McMahon with the talent. WWE officials addressed talent last Saturday ahead of WWE Money in the Bank. Stephanie McMahon, as reported by WrestleVotes, Nick Khan and Triple H addressed talent at a meeting Saturday afternoon, which was said by many we spoke to be positively received. All three were generally liked by the talent, and Stephanie McMahon seems to be outright adored, based on those we've heard from. All three attended the UFC 276 event right up the street immediately after the show. We're told that not all talent were in attendance, as there were plenty that weren't brought into town. One longtime talent that we spoke to said that it was simply a staff meeting, saying much of what talent already knew. Stephanie McMahon thanked everyone to close the meeting. We're told that she had reiterated talent that her door is always open. So, the door's always open if they have anything to say, if they pretty much. The meeting was unanimously positively received based on talent and staff that we spoke with. We have not heard of Vince McMahon being a part of the meeting, though he was at Money in the Bank and still operating as usual. And that's basically the basic stuff. And that her door's always open if the talent need anything. So that's good. Stephanie McMahon, apparently, so it looks like she's like adored, like backstage, that she's being well received, which is good to see. Maybe she could be the permanent CEO chairwoman. I don't think Vince McMahon should be the chairman of the board, CEO. I just don't. It's time for Vince McMahon to go. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, that's all for the wrestling news, ladies and gentlemen. That's really all to say about it. So until next time, I thank you for watching. Shoosh.